it's Todd Ault. It's Risk On. I'm with Jason Bartholomew. It's March 4th, the 23rd episode of what may be the greatest show about risk ever. Now, that's a forward-looking statement. It's probably not true. I'm probably not that smart. But I will tell you, I'm in a damn good mood because I got to have dinner last night with AARON SCHOCK, former congressman, a 4-term congressman, and entrepreneur who's going to be on the show today and talk about risk. This guy's a real estate guy. He's a beast.
Did you know his district was, Abe Lincoln sat in that seat?
Yeah, I did a podcast with him today, and I was so excited. I asked 3 questions, and an hour later, the podcast was over. We have to have part 2 and part 3 and part 4 and part 5. I can feel it coming. This guy is a beast in real estate, and he takes risk. He's got an LA project that he bought. Was just a building that he bought in 30 days, crazy, and turned it into a 450-room hotel. The guy's an animal. Anyways, the market is terrible. Why am I in a good mood? Because I had not deployed my cash, and I started deploying today. I got long Tesla down 40 or something like that. I got long the QQQs and made some money. I got long the diamonds and made some money. I bought more Rocket. Now, hopefully the mortgage company stays in business because I got it coming out of my ears. Yeah. For full disclosure, I bought RIOT in the hole, traded out of RIOT, but still long. But I bought more in the hole, like around 41. I loaded up. Yeah. I loaded up. And so I made money today trading, but the portfolio, part of it, walloped. Well, I got spanked pretty hard.
Yeah. I mean, Boeing held up okay.
It did, but Clover, ugh.
Yeah. Oh, and KMPH.
KMPH it gets FDA approval. How do you do this? You get FDA approval for an ADHD medication. Yeah. Is it ADHD?
ADHD.
ADHD. Yeah, good. People
Which
know
we probably
People
need to
have it. Tell me about it.
We might get a prescription for that, actually.
What?
We might need a prescription for that.
I probably need a prescription. You get approval. You go to 21.
Yeah.
And you're below the price of where you got it. Well, kind of 931, 963. That got crushed. Yep. What about? Do you see anything else that got smoked? I mean, stuff was getting smoked. Hey, I got long Apple today too. I bought some Apple. Now, see, that's not an original idea. So that's to me is not a lot of risk. But I kind of had no choice. But I had to get long Apple for sure.
Let me cover the indicators real quick, and then we'll dig into.
Let's get to the Dow. Yeah. The Nasdaq. What's up with copper?
Yeah, copper was actually copper dipped below $4 a pound. Dow was down 346, 30,923. That retreated 1.11%. The Nasdaq, of course, took the biggest brunt of the part of the recovery here, 12,723. Do you think this is a correction? I mean, this is,
everyone thinks it's coming.
Yeah,
I still see it as a head fake.
It's kind of a telegraph, but if you look at
telegraphed.
Yeah, I mean, Nasdaq was down 2.11% again.
I mean, you need to be really scared. I mean, interest rates are going from 1 to 1.5. Yeah. I mean, the 10-year.
The Treasury.
I'd panic and sell everything if I were you.
Yeah. I mean,
for those of you who think that's advice, it's not. This is a show for entertainment purposes. We're not giving you advice. We're not financial experts. Although I was a broker at one time, I'm not a broker anymore, and so you can't trust my advice. Don't listen to me.
Yeah. Do your own homework.
Yeah. Do your own homework for sure.
It's more satisfying that way. Right. Bitcoin 48,600, Ethereum 1530. Oil was up big, $64.23. That was up almost $3 a barrel. That's WTI light sweet crude for those of you that don't know. OPEC's going to be meeting soon to talk about production cuts. Joy, we be looking at $5 plus a gallon in California? I think so.
That makes EV cheap.
Absolutely.
Hey, buy those Teslas. I got long Tesla today. Oil going higher. Tesla going lower.
Look at the massacre in gold and silver. Gold below 1,700, 1696. Silver 2542, and copper 394. Which we're going to need a lot of copper. We're going to need a lot of materials coming up with the move to green, and then the infrastructure.
Opening in Florida, opening in Texas. Yep. Here to Arizona is going anti-mask. They're going to be like, you don't have to wear a mask
There's a
anymore.
push in Ohio also.
Really?
Another largely populated state.
Right.
And now Mississippi is open. Some of the smaller states like South Dakota.
I wasn't in tune with the market though today. It just was bloody. I saw the Dow like 600 and felt heavier than it was. Yeah. Kind of everything down. It was risk off. Yeah. And I was getting risk on.
But you had a couple of trades with the ETFs, the bear market ETFs, right?
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What do you want to start with? You want to look at Rocket?
Hey, look at Rocket Mortgage. Dan Gilbert. I was born just outside of Cleveland, but Let's put that up on the screen, Brett. This is Rocket for the day. Actually opened higher.
Mm-hmm.
I almost got back to what I paid.
Ooh.
I was actually up a ton.
Yeah.
And then it pulled back way down here.
Yep.
And believe it or not, right there at that bottom, I bought another 10,000.
That was great.
Yeah. And then it went back up to 29 and I sold it. And then it went back down here, and right at the end of the day I bought another 1,000 back. And I'm long a ton of that. I own a ton of this dollar stock, $1.11 dividend coming up on Monday.
Yeah, Monday. Let's talk about that. The price action tomorrow. There might be another red market. We don't know. We're not fortune tellers. But I do know there'll be some price action on Rocket tomorrow because of those that might want to jump in for the dividend at a cheap price.
Right, for sure. Hey, let's go right, Brett, stay on the screen. We're going to go right to RIOT. And it was a riot today. This thing, once again, rallied all the way up in the morning to $48.
Yep.
I kind of had no choice. I had to sell some. I've been trading this thing like crazy. And those, I wonder, I'm thinking about, make a comment on the screen here. I'd love for you to comment below if you think I should post my trades. I kind of feel like I should.
I think so, but you notice the disconnect today in Bitcoin and the actual tickers for crypto? Right. Some large disparities.
No, there was big so I looked at Riot get down to 41. I look at crypto and it's not down much.
47, 48.
And that's why I'm like, okay, I'm going to get long again. And so I got back long, and then it rallied back. You can see right here, if we're Brett, I hope we're still on the screen. I'm going to go to it here. Right here, about 41.59, right in this area right here. We're troughing, and I look right at Bitcoin and go, what am I missing?
Yeah.
So I figured, you know what? Maybe there's just people getting out, retail saying, hey, I'm puking up a little bit. There was some, what felt like, if you look at, let's stay on Riot. If you look at this decline where I have this right now at 47, and you look at the time frame here, we're all the way down here to 41, some change. It felt like a puke.
You know why that is, too? Let me just stop you real quick. Jerome Powell started speaking at that top frame where you put it.
Sure.
And then it just generally sold off.
It felt like people were puking up pretty hard.
Yeah, for sure.
And I looked at the screen. It was red, red, red. I was down a ton.
SPY was nasty.
And this is a risk-on moment. Listen, I'm down a ton, right? But I look at all my names and say, you know, they're already down pretty hard, and I still like them.
Yeah.
And so I put more on, or I could be a moron, but I put more on, and I put more on. Then I automatically thought, you know what? Wait a second here. Wait, I already got a lot of these. Let's look at how much I have allocated. And I thought, okay, I'm going to stop putting more onto them. I'm going to look for the Qs and the diamonds.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Brett. I'm probably talking away from the mic. Got to stay in the mic here.
Yeah.
I started looking at the diamonds and thought, okay, I'm going to put some diamonds on, the Qs on. I see Apple down in the hole a little bit. Yep. Let's put on some Apple. I put on some Redfin today, about 65, 66 today.
I like it. I like it.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, I love that one.
And so I just said, you know what? I'm going to put on some a little bit more diversity because I want to play the bounce a little bit.
Sure.
And they all bounced.
Yep.
Yeah. The Dow was still down 200. It was still ugly. But about half that came back. And so you could feel this puking moment. What happened with Powell? I want you to tell us what Powell said, because I know he said something that moved the market because it was vomiting.
Well, I mean, he was just talking about the Treasury bonds, and he was talking about a little bit of inflation, monetary policy, the COVID, the relief, the recovery of the actual economy. And I didn't really listen to it much because I was watching the markets as he was speaking, but that's generally what he was talking about based on what I was reading in the social media platforms.
So I guess I'm not in a position to comment about what did he say about inflation. That's what I don't know whether I can comment or not.
Yeah, I don't really want to. I don't know for sure what he said, but we, just looking at everyday life, inflation is here. I mean,
but I think he thinks there's going to be some CPI inflation,
right?
But core inflation doesn't seem to be there.
But what's the criteria? See, they measure differently.
No, I know.
So,
I know they do.
They don't.
Brett, let's not go to the screen until I find it. But hold on, I want to see if the market's up here. Now it is, and so the VIX was up. Okay, now we can go to the screen real quick. I'm going to bring up here. Okay, so here's what he says here, right? So you got the Dow down 345, the S&P down 51, the NASDAQ down 2, where we covered that. The Russell down basically 2.67%. The VIX up, so obviously think people are a little bit worried about risk. Dow goes down 400 points after Powell triggers jump in yields, NASDAQ goes red on the year. So
Right.
NASDAQ down on the year,
Yes.
right? He's worried that as the economy reopens, we get a kind of a rally in inflation a little bit. This sure seems like Captain Obvious stuff to me.
Yeah, I just think that
I don't see that, right?
we don't. I want to see what happens when they pass the stimulus. I
Right.
want to see the reaction of the economy.
I kind of thrive on volatility.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think the volatility's there. Obviously, I'm seeing some volatility in a lot of places.
Tons.
But, I'm pretty comfortable where I'm at right now. Got a lot of cash and the ability to buy stuff down lower. I got a lot of cash.
Yep.
Right? So
Yep.
I'm pretty happy.
Yep, a lot of cheapies.
Yeah, a lot of
everywhere.
cheapies down there. Let's continue on with what you're thinking about. What's happening?
The jobs report shouldn't have affected the market in a negative fashion. I mean, unemployment claims were 745,000 new unemployment claims for last week. They expected 750,000, so that really didn't have an adverse effect. But the bond market, the 10-year Treasury above 1.5%. That's a problem for the
Hey,
market.
this weekend, 1 o'clock, Sunday, KEIB. I feel like when I say that, like Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah.
This is the EIB network. No, it's not.
No.
The KEIB, 11:50 a.m., Los Angeles and Orange County.
Right.
But I'm hearing rumors we could be global.
If we go global,
I'm hearing rumors we could be across all the stations.
we have to step our
I'm hearing
game up.
rumors.
Yeah.
Patriot Network. What do you think about those rumors? I know they're rumors because I started it. Just kidding. Continue.
So we were talking about let's talk about the individual stocks now that we've covered the broader markets.
Sure. What do you want to cover?
One of the bright spots actually today was actually GameStop, GME.
I don't see it appear on the screen.
Let's take RIOT away and put in GME.
All
Yeah.
right. Can I tell you, I saw GME rallying, and I thought to myself, the world's off this rocker. I mean, we're backwards, we're up and down. What's right is left, left is right.
Look at that.
Hey, Brett, let's go to the screen real quick. I saw it today, and I was thinking to myself, because this spike here, right? So we're at the screen. This spike was 1 to 146.
I know.
And so the stock was up $8.17 today, 6.58%. And I got to tell you, I'm impressed that it's holding up here.
It's solid.
It's like solidly above 100.
Yeah.
And so they must be up to something. Now, please comment if they've already done an offering. What are they waiting for?
Yeah, they haven't.
They should raise $5 billion,
Yes.
$1 billion, and start converting more online and get buy something.
Yeah, I know.
Acquire something.
For sure.
Let's go. Turn this around, Mr. What's this guy named? Chewy?
Yeah.
Come on, Chewy. Anyways, it's doing incredibly well.
Yeah.
I'm not. By the way, just for the record, don't listen to me. I'm not long GameStop. I'm not short GameStop. First of all, if you're short GameStop, you need your head examined. Okay, back to regular programming.
Okay. We do have the KMPH loaded on the screen.
Yes,
because we
yes.
do have a position.
Some moron bought this stock at $14.
Let's see it. Yeah, there.
And I tell you good stuff. I tell you
jeez.
bad stuff. I am long 50,000 shares of this at 14. I have gotten my proverbial ass beat.
Yeah, that's a bad one. It's back to where it was.
Occasionally it
Look at
happens.
this.
It's back to it's 30 cents above the day they announced that they got approval from the FDA for their new drug.
Yep.
They own a new drug and they're approved.
And that's what happens with these biotech tickers.
Yeah.
They sell off. I think I mentioned that. I don't know.
Yeah, but you also mentioned you thought it could go to 50.
Yeah, but that was like
That was just for the one day, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of not happy with it.
You know what? I'll take responsibility. I didn't communicate it fully.
I'll take responsibility. I bought more. Now, listen, at one point, I was up a ton.
Yeah, we were.
And this is called whipsaw because we're going to look at this and see how stupid I could be.
Yeah, look at that 5
So
day.
this is the 5 day.
Here we go.
Here we go. Here's me
There's
buying it right
Yep,
here.
Sure, we did. Yeah, absolutely.
I hope this is on the screen, Brett, right? And here's it the same day up here. And here's it pulling back and the moron adding to it. That's me.
We did sell, though. a good
We
amount.
did sell some. Yeah, I made some.
Yeah.
And then the moron added to it and then added to it and then added to it and then, okay.
So the falling knife, and we got our fingers chopped off, like you said.
I have no hand.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone.
So,
But remark, that's the 5 day. So the whole 5 day shows it up 67 cents.
what's the year to date? I didn't even look that far back.
Well, that whole far back, right?
Let's see. What,
Down 82 cents.
okay.
What about the 1 year? Up $4.59.
Okay.
What about the 5 year? It's going to be down.
Okay.
Yeah, down 215.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down 95%.
Had to do a few reverses there to clean that stuff up, right?
Yeah.
This was a $300 stock, apparently. Yeah.
Reverses.
Yeah. Okay.
Biotechs, that's common.
Yeah. This is a disaster. And
Well,
I'm long.
we're bag
Thank you.
holding that one.
Let's get back off that screen. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's get back to live here.
The SQQQ.
Oh, I don't feel
believe.
like I'm in a good mood now.
Go. Well, cheer up. Go to the SQQQ. Make yourself feel better.
Is this S? What is this?
Oh, that's another. That's the ETF.
Where's the SQQQ?
Let's see. Right next to it, to the left there. Yeah. That's
Oh yeah, we
There we
talked
go.
about risk. We talked about this yesterday. And
Yeah.
But the funny part about it is, how much do you have to put up? How much do you have to put up to hedge your risk? And I did it yesterday, and $1.5 million would have hedged me out for $1.5 million, and it wasn't enough for me, and so
Yeah.
I cut the position.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not hedged at all.
Well, like we talked about decay and holding stuff like this
Yeah,
overnight. We
for
don't
sure.
want to do that. So
No, but it was a good trade.
Yeah.
And I made some money there.
for sure.
I got, someone's asking me,
Yeah.
how do you, you're supposed to stop out.
You're
Yeah,
When you have mental
Yeah,
stops, you don't
yeah,
stop out, though.
Yeah, exactly. Someone's asking me about, well, how should you have traded that stock better? I should have not added more when I was losing.
Yeah, like how should people guard
Hey, listen,
themselves?
I've been doing this for
It's-
31 years,
yeah.
32 years almost.
Yeah.
You're still going to make mistakes.
You're gonna take some. You're gonna take some
For sure.
some losers for sure.
Yeah, so I had a trade where I was up $1.6 million. I invested $700,000 in December. In January, I sold it for over $2.6 million. I made $1.6 million.
Yep.
Sometimes you have those, and sometimes you have this.
Is that the largest individual trade that you've made in your career, or was there something?
Oh no! I bet I put money in. Now I got to give all kinds of disclaimers here.
Yeah, okay.
I mean all kinds of disclaimers because this was so long ago. But Jack in the Box used to be called Food Maker, based in San Diego. In the 90s, they killed people. 4 people with E. coli burgers.
Yep.
Like 700 people got sick. Stock went from 18 to like 2 or 3.
Wow.
And I bought that over a multi-year period, put a ton of cash into it. So I wouldn't consider it a trade, an investment. They then ran Jack for president. He had like this big head. And I'm Jack. It changed the whole company, right?
Yeah.
Actually changed the name, brought in one of the safest food delivery systems in the world. That stock went from where I bought it to 78, then 100, split a few times. My investors made a fortune in that deal. I actually sold and took out I think half their money at 28. It was a huge
Wow.
home run.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
One of my favorite trades of all times.
Yeah.
But were you asking in dollar terms?
Yeah, just in like in
The
dollar.
most made on a trade?
Yeah, and I guess I needed to clarify that. Like maybe like a 1 day or like a small swing.
Oh, that
trade.
was for a 1 month trade. That was probably the
One-
biggest.
okay.
In the sense that I put 700 up. It was
Yeah.
it was huge. By the way, the very next day it doubled in price again.
I remember.
Now it's down to 5.
Yeah.
But I sold it at 10. It went to 19 intraday.
What are you thinking about that ticker? Anything
It's
else?
getting lower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy it
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
until I buy it.
Right.
Yeah, I never tell people what I'm going to buy till I buy it.
Yeah, I mean because you have to balance your risk. We're getting a question. How much of your portfolio is fully like risk on, like high volatility?
I would argue. Let me think about that question.
Yeah.
How much of my portfolio is risk on? That's a good question.
Yeah,
I
that's a
don't
good
know.
question.
Yeah, I don't know that answer.
But if opportunities arise, you're able to deploy the cash.
Yeah. I like to have, like Warren Buffett talks about, I want to have dry powder
Yes.
when there's blood.
Absolutely.
Like, I normally want to buy things when nobody wants them.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure.
That's why I like rocket companies.
Oh yeah, for sure, it's solid. Like
Right.
when you deploy that cash and you think that you're in a good position where the market's kind of tying a tourniquet on the stock, so to speak.
Sure.
And I think that after today and then tomorrow, I want to reassess tomorrow and see what happens. We might see some sell-offs tomorrow. Obviously I can't predict the future, but it is a Friday. But I'll be ready to buy tomorrow. Let's just say that for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
So you have no kind of predictions on what you think the market's going to do?
No, I really don't. I didn't think it was going to be a bloodbath today. The market massacre today. I didn't expect it to be this bad. It was pretty bad. The only thing was green when I was looking at sectors was traditional energy, oil.
Right.
That was really it. Everything
sense.
else was just red.
Yeah, right back to 44 44.49. Tilray down 225. That's the name we've been trading. We talked about before.
Yeah.
QS down to 44.20.
Oh yeah, it's bargain basement. What about trying to think of some other?
I bought some Icon Enterprises today.
Oh yeah,
some more of that.
Okay.
IEP that was down in the 59 range. Coca-Cola rock solid here at 49.90.
Yep,
for sure.
ExxonMobil had a nice day today.
One stock I didn't talk about today is Palantir.
Yep.
I bought more of it in the hole. I traded it twice today. And it was up in the aftermarket for some reason last night.
I saw that.
And it was up today. And I bought it on weakness. And I traded it a few times. I'm still long about, I still think I have a full position. I think I had like 15,000 shares.
Yeah, it spiked to 25 after hours
Right.
yesterday. I'm like, what is this all about?
Kind of randomly. Did you have any reason why that was the case?
No, I was looking. I didn't see anything.
Hey, what happened with Buzz today? That's what I want to know. Did
Buzz-
Buzz get started?
Buzz didn't really. I think Buzz stung some investors.
Was it down?
Yeah, it was down.
Dave Portnoy can do no wrong, as
yeah,
they say.
let's take a look. It was up and down today.
For those of you who don't know about who Buzz is, this is the new
Van Eck. Oh, you got to change that.
Yeah,
it's,
that's apologies. Don't pay attention to that.
Yeah,
one.
1 second. Put in Buzz again, and then it'll show.
BUZZ.
Stop right there. Let's see. Where is it?
Huh.
Interesting.
It's an ETF that premieres today.
Yeah, put in put a space ETF. Space bar ETF. Let's see if we can get this. We apologize for this here. No matches, huh?
Well, due to technical difficulties, we're going to have to come back to Buzz. But that is, why don't you tell everyone about Buzz real quick? It's a new ETF.
Buzz has the top 75 tickers that are prominent on social media, where the sentiment is positive. It's a 30-day measurement, and what they're doing is they're taking the sentiment from online, they're categorizing it, and then they're assigning a value to it, and they're listing it in their portfolio, and that's the actual fund. So it's pretty interesting because it's driven by technology, social media, and sentiment, which is pretty interesting to me. I don't know if I'm going to.
If we go to the screen real quick on ARC Innovation real quick. So this thing was down at one point today to look like about 114.83. This is Kathy Woods. After hours, it's at 119.30, so the market's up in after hours for this ETF. But they got spanked pretty hard today. Dude, that's a 5.34% pullback.
Yeah.
She's in the high octane names.
Yeah, she's actually down on the year with that, I believe.
Really?
Take a look.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Down 6.26% for the year after, but let's look at the 1 year. That's a rip.
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
She's a stud, as they say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Josh, anything we got to cover here? Let's do some business before we get started with Aaron. Guys, everybody, the last 2 days have been talking about a special guest, a congressman coming in, and we're going to cut away real quick, right, Brett? We are going to bring on Aaron Schock. This guy is one of the youngest men ever elected to Congress.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yep.
He took Abe Lincoln's seat in Peoria, Illinois.
Yes, correct.
This guy.
Oh, you know what else?
What else?
He won by like overwhelming margins on all. Let's see, four. He served four
His
terms.
fourth election, 75%.
75%. How do you get 3 out of 4 people to vote for you?
The guy's incredible.
That's amazing.
And a little shy about his story. Had a little bit of an issue. He solved that problem.
Yeah.
Over some what considered to be nonsense, retarded stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, not allowed to say that word. Anyways, we are going to bring on Aaron Schock. We'll be right back. Stay tuned to Risk On. Hey, we're back, and I'm so pumped that Aaron Schock has joined us in studio. He was elected to one of the youngest elected congressmen ever, right? One of the longest. I know there's some technicalities because country's 200 years old and no one lived past 25 a long time ago. But he is a young Republican congressman, 4 terms. His last term, he got elected by 75%. Now, I can't get in my household, which is 6 people, to agree on that percentage. You got 750,000 people to say you're the guy.
Yeah, 3/4 of them.
Incredible.
Good to be with you, Todd.
I'm excited. We just did a podcast today, which you can learn more about. Autonomous. We covered some great topics like how you got elected at 19 to school board, how you got elected state senator. You were in state senate or state assemblyman, right? Is that right?
State legislature,
State
state
legislature,
house.
State House with Obama.
Yeah.
You guys got elected the same year when you got into Congress. He became president.
Correct.
And then you were invited to Air Force One.
Correct.
Now, how did I know that? Deep research.
Yes.
Just kidding. Jason, can you hear me over there with that special mic? You good?
Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. Mr. Producer said for me to be careful not to talk over you. So
Okay. Here's where we are. So what you don't know about the congressman is that he was buying stuff at a young age. This is a risk-on guy. This guy's got to write a book about the stuff he's done. Real estate mainly, right?
Mostly real estate. My first business was doing computer programming. My parents bought one of the first IBM home computers. We lived in rural Minnesota at the time. We didn't have cable TV out in the sticks, and I learned MS-DOS formatting. And then when we moved to Illinois, I worked for a chain of bookstores in their warehouse doing database management. When I was 12 years old, I started a company that they hired, and that was the way I worked around the work limitations in Illinois. Because in Minnesota, you can get a work permit as a kid on a farm, but in Illinois, they didn't allow that. And then Illinois became the first state in the country to legalize ticket scalping. Back when that was illegal, Illinois became the first state to be able to resell tickets for more than you paid, and I became one of the first ticket brokers, working for a company called VIP Tours out of Woodstock, Illinois, which was bought and sold and is now ticketsnow.com. And seventh grade.
Hold on a second. Hold on. What were you doing at 12 years old? Let's continue.
So made $18,000 my first year when I was in seventh grade. And I took all of it and then put it in an online trading account, which the year was 91, 92, 93.
Oh.
And my dad, who thought I was crazy for buying stocks, was kind of shushed me away. So I bought subscriptions to Money, Kiplinger Personal Finance, and Fortune Magazine. And my scientific, you'll appreciate this, of my scientific analysis of what I chose to buy was they have their top 5 picks every month. And if there was one stock in all 3 magazines, that's what I would buy. And if there wasn't a stock in all 3 magazines, I wouldn't buy that month. But it was, I bought Sun Microsystems, Oracle, Apple, all these tech stocks in 91, 92, 93. And then by the time I was in high school, I had several $100,000 in my online trading account, which I then took out some cash, $60,000 in cash, and bought 110 acres of farm ground, which I intended to develop into a gravel pit. And it was during that process that the sanitary district, the city, decided they wanted to try and take my property through eminent domain, and I fought them. And I fought them. We went to court, and during that process, I was wanting, as we talked about in the podcast this morning, I wanted to go to college early. My school board blocked me, so I ran against the school board president. She took me to court, had me thrown off the ballot. I ran as a write-in candidate. When I got 6,000 people to write my name on the ballot and beat the school board president, about 10 days later, the attorneys for the sanitary district call my attorneys and say, we want to settle. And that's when I learned that even the courts are political, right? And what they determined was they didn't want to take now the newly elected school board member to court and try and take his land. They didn't think that'd go over too well.
Let's get this straight. So you're in high school and you want to go to college. They won't let you out of high school because they get $6,000 a year for you to be there. So you run for the school board and win.
Correct.
As a write-in.
Correct.
At 19. Anyone? I don't know. It's like, what do you do, Bueller? I mean, this is crazy stuff. I mean, your story is amazing. It's just, so you bought, when you were, was it, I apologize, I cannot remember what college you went to.
I ended up going to Bradley University, which is a private college in my hometown, because I had been accepted to the University of Illinois' accounting program. They wouldn't let me go there, so I had to stay and take PE my senior year. Ran against the school board president, beat her. Once I was elected to the school board, I couldn't leave town. So right. I stayed and went to Bradley University, which actually ended up being a great school for me, and it was great for me politically because when I ran for Congress later, my whole congressional district are all Bradley University alums. So it was a good, and my predecessors all went to Bradley. The last 2 predecessors, including Bob Michael, who was the longest serving minority leader in the House, 38 years he served in Congress, was a Bradley alum.
Well, But where'd you buy the real estate by the college? Was that by Bradley?
So you've done your research. I bought 110 acres of farm ground. Once the San Antonio District bought that property from me, they paid me about 3 times what I bought it for. I then took that and started buying up the rental property around Bradley University where I was attending, because I saw an opportunity where a lot of kids were coming from bigger cities and they were kind of living in crappy housing, and I bought nicer homes closer to the university, was able to charge a premium, and then I started to realize that this university was landlocked. Had I had more money back then, I would have made more money, because my prediction was right. The university was going to expand eventually. I didn't know when, didn't know what year, but I just knew the campus was growing, the population was growing of the university, and it was in the center of town. And my senior year in high school, in addition to being a senior year in college, in addition to being on the school board, I was also on the student senate at my university. And I'm at the student senate meeting, and the provost comes in and he unveils the master plan for the university, and there's a parking deck right where my houses sit.
Nice.
And I knew, I said, how are you going to build that parking deck? Well, we intend to buy those buildings. He didn't know that I actually owned the homes, but because they're a private university, they couldn't use eminent domain, so they had to negotiate and buy them.
What's the risk? Like, so this is a show about risk.
Yep.
I don't even know where to start with your risk. But in terms of financial transactions, what's the riskiest or risk on or something where you knew you'd make money and other people thought you were crazy?
Well, the ground I bought was in the floodplain. So this was 110 acres of farm ground in the floodplain, and my dad and parents thought I was crazy. Most people thought I was crazy. And I knew there was sand and gravel there because I had done the test borings, and I knew that the property was worth 3 times what I was paying for it. But clearly nobody else did, or they would have bought it. So I felt pretty confident about that. Another risky venture I made was I built a spec home in 2007, which hurt because it finished in 2008 when the market crashed, and I had to pay taxes on a home I never lived in for 5 years till the economy turned around, and sold it. But all cash in, all cash out. I did make money, but a very, very small amount of money. So real estate's always been a good investment for me because if you buy it right, you don't have to sell it till you want to and until you make money. I should take advice from you on stocks because I'm not as good with stocks.
Not lately. Hey,
harder to predict.
Hey, those of you who don't know, the company I am executive chairman of has a hotel in New York City it's building, and Aaron happens to be one of the. Are you considered a principal or just an investor there? What are you considered?
I'm just an investor because, as you know, the GP is a business partner of mine, but that's not me. I just represent him at the meetings and so forth.
Got it.
But
okay.
I'm an investor.
But we were introduced, of course, through one of the GPs, right? Right, exactly. Who I've known his family for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
So we're building a
awesome,
amazing. Did you call it 6-star hotel?
It'll be New York's first 6-star hotel.
Yeah.
In
Barriere.
Tribeca, New York, their first North American property. They have 18 ultra high-end luxury hotels across Europe, one in St. Bart's, and it is in the sexiest piece of real estate in New York City. For people that know New York real estate, it's in Tribeca. It's catty corner to what they call the celebrity building, the paparazzi-proof building, where Jay-Z, Beyonce, Justin Timberlake all live in this one building.
Doesn't what's that other guy?
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Tom Brady and Giselle, they live a block away.
Whatever, yeah.
So it's really a cool neighborhood.
He's done something.
This will be the neighborhood hotel, if you will, with 3 food and beverage locations. The #1 chef in the world, Pierre Garnier, 23 Michelin stars, is going to open his first New York restaurant as one of the restaurants in the hotel. It's going to be awesome. And it opens a year and a half from now, which is when I think New York's going to be
post-pandemic, yeah. Hey, I couldn't have done a better commercial myself. And by the way, that is not a commercial for anything. We're just giving you some information that's publicly available. But that leads into my point is that you're building another hotel in Los Angeles.
Correct.
And for the last couple minutes we have, to me, this is risk on, right? So you get an opportunity to buy a building that's kind of dilapidated, right, a little bit. And
a lot.
How tall is the building?
It's 14 stories tall. It had 5 elevators. Only one of them worked. There were 40 occupants, 240,000 square feet. It's a 1967 all concrete structure office tower. It's actually built by the same architect and the same contractor as the LAX terminal building in 1967. So I have black and white photos of the terminal, grass, and my building. And this was a parking operator that owns parking decks that said, hey, would you like to buy the building? I made him an offer, an all-cash offer, and he said, I'll take it under one contingency. One contingency is that you have to be here in 30 days with your cash.
I want the money.
I want the money. So we bought it without inspection and have gutted it, re-entitled it, built 401 hotel rooms. There's a rooftop pool, and we're moving furniture in now and hope to
Was there
open.
not a pool before?
No.
I always wondered how the hell you put a pool on the top of
Particularly on a building that's already built. Which interestingly, this building was already structurally reinforced more on one side of the building because the old MEP systems were big boilers and big water coolers on the roof. That when we scraped all the MEP systems, mechanical, electrical, plumbing equipment, and got rid of them, we got much more efficient systems that are housed within the interior of the space. So I had a building that was more structurally sound on one side of the building. So that's when my structural engineer was telling me this, and I go, oh wait, could I put a pool up here? And he goes, you want a pool at the airport? I said, look at this. You just stand there and the planes are coming in.
Landing right over you.
Who doesn't like to sit and watch airplanes?
Everyone does.
So I'm going to have there's 12,000.
Oh my God, now I'm really pissed how to get to invest. That's a good idea. That's a great idea.
12,000 hotel rooms at the LAX airport, and we're going to have the only rooftop pool. It's going to be cool.
And they can watch the planes land. Because people go to LAX to do that now.
Adults, kids who want...
serve some food.
Yeah.
Oh,
drinks.
Wow. But you did not know... It was not a hotel beforehand, so you had the foresight to say, I'm going to convert this into a hotel.
Yeah, it was an office building. Like I said, it was an original office building to the airport. But when I went down there, I had done hotel development before I was elected to Congress, so I have that kind of light bulb in my brain that naturally flickers on when I see real estate. And I was looking around, looking at this old office building, thinking, gee, do we repurpose this office building into something nicer? And there's hotels everywhere. And I thought, this shouldn't be an office building. It should be a hotel.
Hey, guys, it was awesome to have Aaron Schock in. We got about 2 minutes left. Just can you hang out for a few minutes?
Sure.
Hey,
Absolutely.
Jason. So going into tomorrow, what are you thinking stock-wise?
Well, I just want to look at the futures overnight and see what's happening with the market. The overall market, the indicators with cryptocurrency, silver and gold, it's getting to the point now where precious metals are flashing by for me personally. That's not an endorsement, but I'm also going to be looking at the continuation of the sell-off being a Friday.
Sure.
People might be a little hesitant to hold over the weekend. You know, a lot can happen. There's a lot of geopolitical stuff happening right now. So I'm just going to be looking to see what else is on sale. Everything was on sale today. So
hey, Ethereum's at $1,516. Crypto's right around 48,000, a little bit more, like about $48,078. It's kind of holding in there.
You know, if I could get RIOT under 40, that would be like a great buy for me personally.
Does it seem like it's stabilizing to you or not? Second I say that Bitcoin's stabilizing, then it's going to probably go either direction.
Well, actually, Bitcoin is pretty stable considering to the compared to the overall markets right now.
Sure.
So, yeah, who would have thought that 2 years later, after we started looking at cryptocurrency, that it would be a wealth preservation or storage of wealth, and that's what it's turning out to be right now.
Sure.
So
do you like Congressman? You like any stocks?
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my hometown Caterpillar Tractor Company.
There you go.
If I would have bought it when I left Congress at $50 a share, it's over $200 a share. It's one of the blue chip stocks.
That's a lesson of buy what you know. Hey, we're going to be on the radio, the Patriot Network, 1 o'clock on Sunday, 11:50 a.m. The Patriot Network, KEIB. I like to say that. It feels big. I like Rush Limbaugh. EIB Network. This is not the EIB Network, but I wish it was. Hey, thanks to Josh and Brett today, and Skyla, and Aaron Schock, Congressman Aaron Schock. There's going to be more on our podcast about this guy. This guy's a stud. He's 39. He's got a lot to do. Yeah. We'll see you tomorrow. It's March 4th, right? Am I right? March 4th? The 23rd episode. We'll see you tomorrow.